lot of healthy bodies.
A lot of bodies, yeah.
A lot of bodies. What's, I guess, options are available?
Yeah, we'll probably know more. Well, I probably would know more if I went and saw Kinger today, but yeah, well, those guys are really close. Yeah. So we'll find out. I mean, I'll probably give you an update tomorrow, but I don't know quite yet what we're going to do.
What about, apologize for the philosophical nature of this one. What makes a group committed? It seems like this group is known for their commitment.
Yeah. Well, I think one is you first have to make a commitment as a player, and then it has to spread through the room, and they have to understand that he's committed. He's committed. You don't want to be the guy that's not, and so I think it becomes the pressure of the group at some point. So our job is to try to get as many guys committed and playing and caring to do the right thing most often, and the room takes over when everybody starts to say, okay, I'm on board, he's on board, I trust him, we all trust each other. Now you have something. And it sounds really easy, but to do it night after night and situation after situation, it's so easy to, on a 50-50 play, to just not quite do it how we would expect. And it's never perfect, but I think our players, and most often to a man in those situations, are making the right decision. They're making the decision that's probably a team decision.
When veteran guys are ready to come back, how challenging, I guess, is it as a coach to maybe have to take a guy who is deserving of playing and have to sit him out, or potentially a guy who's highly higher in the lineup, deserving of that spot, but maybe has to go down for a guy who's earned it with his own experience?
Yeah, right. It's a really good question, and it's always difficult to strike the right balance in that. Yeah, it's not always fair. That's the first thing, right? The league is hard. Guys have earned their stripes, but you also appreciate the contributions that people have made. So somehow you got to try to balance it. You got to try to do it as fairly as possible, with enough empathy as possible, if that's the word you want to look for the players that are going to lose some ice time. But it is the nature of the beast, it really is.
Those decisions harder when the team's playing as well as it is right now?
I don't know if they're harder, but they seem less fair. When you're talking about you want to be as fair as you can be, so it's not a more difficult. You got to do what you think is right. That decision is always the one that's before you, but it probably just seems like it's less fair for some people.
All year long, we've been having conversations about the team's record in different situations. Team's record after a loss, team's record at home, team's record when scoring 3 goals, whatever it is, and it's always good. It's always a good record. Is that just a testament to your team being committed the way you were talking about earlier, or it doesn't matter what the scenario is, you just don't win more games?
Yeah, I mean, probably some of those, are good right now because we're winning games. So, they're going to take a dip at some point. It's just natural, and you're going to say, oh, they're not that good after this, or whatever it might be. So we try not to get too caught up in those outside of going right back to the first question. Do we have enough guys that are committed to do it right night after night, moment after moment? And if you do, then most times you hope the other way you slice it is going to look pretty good because of those reasons. But there's the one I would say that we're probably, I guess as coaches, I don't know if proud's the right word, but most encouraged by is coming after a loss. That to me is something. That to me is, because you can compound mistakes, you can compound losses. Set it away and maybe come back more determined or, I guess more determined or more prepared to make better decisions. And we've done that. That's one that I think is the one that's, most compelling when I look at the different stats in those areas.
As Trevor Lewis nears 100% and has an opportunity to play in his 1000th game, the league has changed so much over the years. How is he still such a good example, even for the new players that are coming through that maybe even played a different style than he's done all these years?
Yeah. I think the one thing, though, and it's a good question, but the one thing that will never change will never change, is this is a very hard game, physical, intimidation, ups and downs, and the players that can combine an unbelievable amount of personal character with physical attributes, there'll always be a place. There'll always be a place for those guys, maybe when they're not as fast, not as skilled as those drop off, but there'll always be a place for them somewhere on a team. And you'll see that on a good team, but you'll also see it on teams that are starting to reestablish themselves with young players. They want that guy because it's so difficult. It's so challenging mentally, the game. And I think now more than ever with the social media, that those people who are rock solid characters and just some people use the word pros. And when I think of Trevor, that's just it. It's just a rock in a stormy sea of emotions, the game. And that reflects not just only on him, but onto his teammates as well. And that's why those guys coaches love them, and they're never going away. And they'll scratch and claw forever to stay in, because that's their heart and their passion for the game, and it's easily seen. That was a long answer, by the way.
That was wonderful.
That was a long one.
Poetic.
You just tell me to shut up. I probably got halfway through that one.
Trevor Moore said that rehabbing alongside Louis pushed him in his own recovery.
Just let me stop. Does it sound like I like Louis? Okay, just want to make that clear. I'm a Louis fan. If it wasn't clear. Okay, sorry.
No, you're good. Trevor Moore said that like having Louis also out with him pushed him in his own recovery, pushed him to be in early, pushed him to the workouts. Is that an example of not only does the rock in the ocean play well on its own, but it can also help others to be that as well?
Well, that's just it, for sure. In fact, we're thinking about sending Louis to work with Drew over the next little while, too, for a little extra. No, there's no doubt. We're honest to God, had that conversation. Can he do both? Can he play and go rehab with Drew? Yeah, that's just it. That's a really good example. That's probably more important what Morsey said in that short sentence than everything I just said.
You singled out Joel Edmondson for praise after the last game.
Yeah.
He's playing more minutes this year than Andre Kopitar. He's routinely third in ice time,
Yeah.
night in and night out. Maybe this is just this side of the table perception, but when the season started, I assumed he was a third pair defenseman, training wheels for Brent Clark, not to be dismissive of his role. But you clearly trust him. He's clearly adapted to this role. What point in the season did you know you had a guy that you would roll out there, third most minutes of anyone else on your team?
Well, I would tell you this. The first few days in training camp, he caught our attention because it's a lot of people going on out there in training camp and lots of different stuff going on. And so as coaches, you're getting to know the players, the new players. We have a new coach in Newell. And, we get back after a long day and we have discussions. What do you see? What do you guys like from today? And every coach said, this Eddie is serious. Like, that was the impression he gave us after 3 days. Never mind going and playing anybody else. He is serious. He's, dialed in. He's a pro. Every drill, he does it hard. Nothing's soft. Nothing's easy for anybody. You can just tell it. You can just tell when you're out there with him. So that was our first impression. And then, of course, he took it from there. Once he got out there and started playing, we're like, oh, yeah, man, this guy's going to be important for us. And, with Drew's injury, he's probably playing more than, I'm sure, more than he's ever played, and probably more than we liked, anticipated. But those three of them, in the absence of Drew, have had to play more. Now, when Drew comes back, they'll probably all be backed off somewhat. But Eddie's been one of those guys, in the absence of Drew, that's really made a difference for us.
Trevor Moore told us the other day that while he was rehabbing, while he was watching games from the press box, it kind of allowed him to see how difficult the team really is to play against, maybe a different perspective than when he was playing games. Was there, I guess, a point in this season so far where it kind of, dawned on you that you guys are as difficult to play against as you wanted to be early in the season?
I don't know if there's a point. We weren't difficult to play against in the third period in San Jose. So I don't know if there's a specific point, but we see it now. When we watch our video, we go, yeah, that's good. That's good. That's no fun to play against. so there's different areas of the game and the ice where we can see that, no, those are good sticks, that's good positioning, that's good numbers, that's hard to play against. We know that when other teams have done that to us, we felt like, we're not getting anything. Guys, don't be frustrated. Keep working through this. This is going to be a grind. And so we can see when we're playing that way, it must be, the other teams must feel that way as well. We can just see it where in the positioning.
Would you say the team is uncomfortable to play against? That was a big word. Nate.
Yeah. I mean, again, you'd have to ask the other teams, but you know, we've talked to some of the other coaches we know through the league. You know them pretty well, and they say, and even through other players, it goes player to player, and yeah, we're not a lot of room, not a lot of room to play against. You know, you're gonna have to earn your goals and stuff like that, and nobody likes to earn them. We all like it a little bit easier, you know. So it makes it hard when you have to get out there and just keep being patient and grinding, and that's what we preach to our players on offense too. You just got to keep grinding. There's no easy way.